What's happening, guys? I'm Dan. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. It's the middle of the Hot Butcher drop. We're going to continue reviewing these beers for you guys. Brand new Hot Butcher. This is HOIST Point. Kind of cool, right? This is brewed with Riwaka, Motueka, and Nectaron, and also Dorado hops. So double IPA, clocking in at the standard 7.5% ABV. Very normal for Hot Butcher. Notes on the back, we have juicy berry, bright lemon, candied orange. So kind of excited to try this one. There is no canned on date. That's been the typical story for Hot Butcher as of late. But again, we like to sometimes and typically agree that this is fresh within the month or so because it's a fresh drop from M4. They're not old beers, guys, because Hot Butcher sells out very quickly and they keep the rotation fresh. It's just what they do. And getting it in Northern Michigan, it comes and it goes. It doesn't stay for very long. So let's break into this one, see what it's about. 4-pack of this, about $17.99 retail. So that's what you guys need to know on the shopping end of things. And as we pour it, she's a golden orangey haze bomb. The typical. It doesn't look out of character. It's a very creamy head sitting on top, maybe a dash creamier than normal, and slow to moderate carbonation streaming to the top. Guys, it's a Hot Butcher beer. There's nothing really to be said. Maybe a little bit more golden orange than normal, a little more OJ darkness in there, but it's the standard look that we get on Hot Butcher beers. We don't need to go into great detail. I'm wasting your time. You can see it for your eyes. Got the ring light right on it. It's exactly what it looks like. Aroma. Ooh, it's so like the herbs that feel like they're infused into these beers. It's insane. Like everybody uses the word herbaceous now. I think the Beer Patrol, Joe, shout out to Joe. I think he like coined that term and he made it popular. But it's the epitome of herbaceous. Basil, almost chivy, rosemary, like oniony. It's got all those things, like the vegetal chop that comes to mind. But there's this nice, like, it's orange for sure, but it's got more acidity to it. It's got more zestiness. It's like a zesty combination of overripe orange and ruby red grapefruits. Pine cones, earthy, kind of slight dankness also. But it might just be like the herbaceous vegetal quality that this brings to, and it smells green too. It smells young. It doesn't smell like it's very mature. Smells very young in the glass. Just kind of stone fruity, tropical genericness, but it's not like I'm gonna pick it out. I mean, you could say maybe some like pineapple passion fruit, but guys, it smells good. It smells very fruity and forward and bright. I guess there's a lot of citrus going on in there, maybe some stone fruity qualities, and then again the vegetal herbaceousness definitely there. I guess juicy berry. I don't know. The berry thing's always tough for me to catch, but let's try it out, guys. It is what it is. HOIST Point. Cheers. Ooh. So she's got some bitterness, got some like floral dryness, I want to say, and it hangs on pretty well on this one. Like the last one I had from Hot Butcher was very juicy, super creamy. This one's a little bit more sharp. It's a little bit more edgy with the bitterness, a little bit more earthy pine in this. Definitely drier. The berry thing, really not getting it. Again, the vegetal kind of mint, the herbaceous basil, it's in there for sure, and I think they shine really well in this. And it typically feels very dry the way this beer finishes. Not juicy in my humble opinion, maybe just for a moment in the beginning, but it's really hugging the skin of orange. There's a little bit of juicy orange, and then that ruby red grapefruit. It's got the zip, the kind of almost tart sour quality. It's not actually tart or sour, but it's bringing those aspects of a grapefruit to the table, and then it integrates itself into like stone fruit, maybe a little bit of tropical vibes in here, but not overdone. It's grassy, it's vegetal, it's herbaceous, maybe a touch of floral dank, but not as dank as some of the other Hot Butcher beers by any means. I like the dryness, though. I will say I really like the nice kind of pine cone bitterness on the back end that ends up just drying your palate out. It takes all that citrus out, and you're left with just the skin and the earthy pine bitterness. It completely erases that any notes of juicy fruits. They kind of leave you at the end. So some people might not like that. I do like that. But I feel like maybe these hops collide a little bit together, and they might take away from one another rather than enhance each other. I do like the citrus on this, but I feel like maybe some of the other hops get a little bit lost in here. Ends up being generic, dry, vegetal qualities. You can feel just a hint of the booze, kind of radiating off the back of the tongue. It's not a bad thing, though. I mean, it's cold, and it again drinks very dry, and you can keep going back for another sip. It's what Hot Butcher does well, but I feel like it's not as creamy as some of the other mouthfeels for Hot Butcher standards. It's good. It's good. It's not mind-blowing. It's in a world so competitive now, even Hot Butcher keeps raising the bar. It's like, how can you make a beer better, right? I guess just enhanced drinkability. So, is this good? Yes. Is it the best 7.5 DIPA I've ever had? Nippas. Sounds funny. Is it the best one I've ever had? Not necessarily. That orange grapefruity zestiness really comes out, though, the more you drink it. And the bitterness, it kind of falls off a little, but it is still dry, and it's bitter still on the back end. So with all that being said, where do I put this? 4.1 out of 5. Like, I feel like it could be enhanced a little bit. I feel like the hops get a little bit muddled together, but that's just my opinion. It's still a great beer, and it certainly tastes young, and I just want maybe like something else I can dig out of this one, and they kind of just blend together. And I don't want to say it's boring. It's just I want to reach for something else rather than just that straight to that bang bitterness, dryness. So yeah, that's where I stand today, guys. It's been the Hoist Point. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Dan Llamas. Prost, cheers, whatever you want to say.